Next game, another team that's bad hosting, the one hosting this game. Titans at the Vikings. Line open up. Titans -1. It's up to 2.5. Got some flack for saying that the Vikings should tank for Trevor Lawrence, but I think that's what they should do. So who do you like in this game? And I'm wondering if we're going to be 6 for 6 in agreements.
Yeah, I'm on the Titans here. This feels like a no bet to me because as much as I feel like the Vikings are crumbling, and I personally would not hate to see them end up with a new quarterback just because I don't think Kirk Cousins can lead the offense as they become devoid of weapons. He needs to be surrounded by more than Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook. That's pretty much what they have right now. And Justin Jefferson should eventually progress. He hasn't been there so far, but the Vikings have basically been blown out twice this year. They lost by 17 to the Colts and didn't really score until late. They turned the ball over constantly in that game. And then they got punched in the mouth by the Packers right in the first game. And, that score looks a lot better than it was because in the fourth quarter, the Packers just kept them at an arm's length. They never let them get within, I think, 10 or 11 points. But they did let them score a lot. So I'm not a big fan of the Vikings here. Meanwhile, the Titans, they've been nothing short of consistent on offense. They've missed a million field goals, but Ryan Tannehill is continuing to take advantage of opposing defense's weaknesses. I never really thought I'd be saying that again this year, but he should be able to take advantage of the cornerbacks on Minnesota's team because they are very young and they just do not look pro ready, which is no fault of Mike Zimmer's own. Without a real offseason, it's hard to get them acclimated, but all of their cornerbacks have 3 or fewer years of experience, including 2 rookies. I think Tannehill takes advantage there. He's thrown for at least 2 touchdowns in, I think, 14 of his 16 starts as the Titans quarterback. And, there are some questions about the Titans defense. They did just allow 30 points to Gardner Minshew and the Jaguars, or I think 27 rather. And I know the Vikings are desperate, but I just can't see the Vikings quite winning this one. I just don't like their team and their makeup right now and their personnel. I think they're weaker than the Titans. So I'm on the Titans, but I'm not very locked in on this one. I don't think I'll bet it because I could definitely see a case made for the Vikings.
Yeah, so I mean, this is gonna be our first disagreement, but I don't have strong conviction on this one. I'm just gonna buy low with the Vikings because 2 weeks ago the spread probably would have been Vikings -3. I mean, they're favored by a field goal over the Packers, which, ended up being wrong. But I think that Mike Zimmer eventually might get something out of his young corners. Like, I could see them improving as the year goes on. I don't know if it'll be this week, but eventually I think that'll happen. I also think there's a non-zero chance the Titans are going to be a little flat here because, they had the big win on Monday night and then they beat a divisional opponent, like granted the Jaguars, but still a divisional opponent to go to 2-0. And now they have to play a team that's 0-2. This looks miserable. And the Vikings are going to try to avoid 0-3. I feel like they're going to be desperate and they're going to try some new things and maybe it'll pan out. But still, I can't find a good reason to bet the Vikings. And I don't like the Titans either. So I'm not going to bet this game. If this goes to +3, I'll consider because that'll create some good line value. Every metric I see says the Titans should be -1. The advanced spread was -1. My number's -1. DVOA says -1. So if it goes to 3, that's a little bit of value. But right now, I'm not going to bet this game.
Yeah, you make a good case for the Vikings because you're right. That spread over the course of the past 2 weeks has probably shifted 6 points. But what Zale just said about the Vikings reminding him of the 2019 Falcons, that gives me horrible flashbacks because I was all over the Falcons last year as being a sleeper team and they did not pan out. And I can absolutely see that. Like, on paper, it looks like, oh, the Vikings have made all these upgrades during the draft. They've done a lot to improve their team. They should be okay without Stephon Diggs. Their running game's really strong. And just none of that's really panned out because Kirk Cousins hasn't played well and he hasn't gotten protection. So I think that comparison's pretty spot on there. So I'm going to keep fading the Vikings until I see a reason not to. But again, your point on value, I think the Vikings are probably the better value. I just can't bring myself to pick them. But again, I'm not betting this game. It's one of my least confident ones of the week.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, what you say makes sense. Like in the stock market, you don't try to catch a falling knife. You wait until there's a sign of a bounce back. And so maybe you're right. Like I'm probably going to be wrong in this game. I have no conviction, like I said. So I don't really care if I get this one wrong, to be honest.